I wanted to do a Facebook Live sketch, but Camtasia does. I'm having a hard time getting it to go. So anyway, we're gonna record it live. I'm not gonna do a voiceover on it, but I'm gonna just do a quick demonstration. This one goes out to David Freeman. Big shouts to David Freeman. This video's for you. So let's just jump right in here. All right, so this is Sketchbook Pro, guys. This is the interface. I kind of mentioned it on Facebook and other platforms before, but this is primarily the the program I use to sketch ideas out on. I think it's like $40 for the year, and the hardware that I'm using is just a Surface Pro 4 tablet. Um, I actually draw right onto the screen, guys. Are you familiar with the Surface Pro? You draw right on the screen, unlike a Wacom Intuos, where it's a separate component that you draw on. It transfers to the screen or to the computer, I should say. So it kind of gives you a background a little bit on my setup. As we discussed in the past, these types of sketches that we're going to do here in a demonstration just are really just a quick and dirty, just to kind of enough to visually communicate your idea to the client or whoever you're just trying to get it on paper, and doing it in such a manner where it's sloppy but still it's an attractive sloppiness, if you will. So a couple of things you need to kind of know before you jump into this, or it's going to help with the final rendering, is some general perspective. Anything that's drawn, whether it's organic or mechanical, skyscrapers, buildings, very cube-like forms, cylinders and stuff like that. Perspective is used in that type of drawing as well, whether you're drawing animals, rocks, anything. So just kind of know that. A couple of key things again that you want to look up: 2-point perspective, 1-point perspective, and those are enough. 3-point we're not really using for this type of sketching. So let's just jump right in. So here's your layer off to the right. I'm going to go ahead and make a new layer. This layer 1, I'm going to go ahead and fill with a gray tone. Okay, we'll choose like a W2, which is a warm gray, 20%. Okay, there it is. And now layer 2 is going to be my sketching layer. And let's just draw some, again, boxes like we talked about before. Let's choose a dark brown to sketch with. Let's just draw in some boxes. All right. Now you can see there's a little bit of foreshortening applied there. So this is actually employing 2-point perspective. And I'll illustrate that here. I'll draw it real small, kind of show you. So if you take these lines, telegraph them all the way out. Same thing with these lines. Right? This would be a horizon line somewhere over here. Okay. And then this point would be VP1, vanishing point 1, and then somewhere over here, vanishing point 2. Not going to get a whole lot into that, but look that up. But that kind of gives you a basis understanding on drawing the cube in perspective. All right. So these lines right there and right there recede into space. That's why there's a slight taper to them. Gives you drawing a little bit more dynamic feature to them. Okay, I'm going to clear that. Kind of gives you a background on that. So let's draw the hearth. 2 ways you can do this. You can draw organically. Once you develop an arm or a hand, whatever you need to get some straight lines. Again, I'm just drawing an elongated rectangle, 3-dimensional form, right? That's all I need right there. So if this was a rock, let's just say this was for a fireplace hearth, this was a rock, or this could be viewed as a stair tread. If we're going to draw a stair tread, right, here's my center line. How do we find our center line in perspective? Just make an X, right? Connect the corners. Lines aren't very straight here, but right, somewhere in there. Oop. There's your center line there. Close enough, right? Okay. So what do we do with this from here? Okay, why I put a center line here? If you wanted this radius, then you know that would be the apex of that radius, right? This will recede into space. See how I did that there? Kind of gave that face a little bit of an archway. Doesn't have to be perfect. Again, if that was doing rock, you know, I would just do an overlay sketch over the top of that. And that's how that starts. I'll lower this layer down. See how you can kind of lower it down to 0? Now it's almost like tracing paper. Now I got kind of construction lines to go with. All right. So let's just say this had a fractured edge. Right. The corner's chipped off. Right. Same thing a little bit. Not a big fan of the saw cut edge where it's just kind of, you know, razor sharp in the corner there. And then, you know, that'll dance like that. That'll have a busted edge. You know, so, you know. So you can kind of see what's going on here. And see how quickly you can develop a shape along with, you know, some visual representation of some texture, which we haven't even dropped any color on this yet. So I can take this layer 2 off to the right. I could turn that off. See, the skeleton framework is gone. I prefer it in there. It just kind of keeps that grungy look, so the client knows we didn't spend a lot of time on it, but because if you spent a lot of time on it and if it doesn't look polished, it can almost be viewed as unprofessional. So it actually worked against you there. All right. So I kind of erased some of that. Now I'm going to merge those layers together. So now I will have them on one layer. Now let's go ahead and drop some quick color in. Make a new layer. We'll go to our Copic library here. We'll pick a warm tone 5. Well, let's do a 4, which means warm gray 40%. We'll go to our watercolor brush. That's that brown brush right here. You can kind of see it here. I'll do a couple of, see how soft that is. I'll actually make it a little bit bigger in diameter. There we go. Good enough. Now I'm just going to drop some tone on here. You know, leaving some of the undertone khaki with the base layer. Just quickly rough. And I don't have an idea on the facets of geometry on this. I'm just quickly scribbling in some tone. Some indication that this will be a rock-like surface of some sort. Different faces. All right. Now I'm going to just go a little bit darker. That was a 4. Let's go to a 5 now. Right. Give some faces on that. Let's put some dark at the base, making this object appear grounded. Giving it some body. Some shadows here. Again, it's real quick and dirty. Right? Now, you guys are going to love this tool. It's called a smudge tool. See it right here? It's got those almost like a rooster tail. It's actually going to smudge that pigment. around. I love it because again, it keeps it dirty, but yet attractive. It's almost like the new style with the kids today. They're wearing the holes in the pants. Kind of the same methodology. All right, let's go to a little bit darker. We'll kick it up to 60%, and then I think we'll call it a day. Good enough. Some different tones, pushing these values around. All right. All right. Again, quick. Keep this under 5 minutes, if that. All right. If you want to drop some there, you can. Good enough. Now here comes the fun part. Put a light source on this. Keep the watercolor brush. But let's go to a like a warm white. Yeah, there we go. You can see, there we go. Just lightly grazing that top surface. Maybe just to kick it up just a little bit more. There you go. And I'm just, again, wisping some lines in there, some indications of white. And again, since I made that on its own layer, I could turn it on and off just like that. Really helpful. Right? And then you can erase some of those lines. So there's kind of a quick hearth. I'm going to merge all these layers. Indicated, see what it says merge with below. Merge that one. Now I have this thing on its own layer. So let's go ahead and erase our slop here in the top, bottom right. Eraser tool is the hard eraser. So which means that leaves a hard line, kind of like that. I'll make the diameter a little bit bigger here. Just like that. Same thing with the shadow. The shadow on the floor, giving it the floor some interesting, paint and pigment. Let's go ahead and define that line. So I'll show you how to use the hard eraser. See how quickly just kind of, oh, took that off there. And quickly shape in a hard line. Just like so. Then you can come in with the soft eraser, lower the diameter. This way it's not so computerized, lightly, burnish out some, well, it doesn't look so static. There you go. Now if you want to outline that with a black, you sure can. Just a fountain pen, kind of an outlining pen. And we'll go to the 10. Again, black's a little hard on the eyes to me, but some people like it. It gives it a lot of contrast. Just like so. Keeping it real loose. Quick outline here. Kind of cartoony, but you can fill up a whole page of these. You never know what you're going to come out with. Similar like playing the guitar or the drums. That's what's nice about the sketching experience. It provides that organic experience. Some software programs like AutoCAD, and then you got, SketchUp, which I use. And you could do this in SketchUp, by the way. I'm going to kind of veer off here on that topic. Speaking of SketchUp, the framework in which we sketch this, you can use SketchUp in that same realm. Provide, and it's to scale. So you can provide very specific dimensions. So you could, let's say that hearth is, let's just go ahead and write on here. Let's say this is, 16 inches per se, right? And let's just say this is, 8 feet. So 96 inches, right? You could bring that framework right in from SketchUp, right on the money. It'll, just be just a general cube or a rectangular cube. And you could do your sketching right over the top. So you turn this down, turn that layer way down, where you can kind of see it. And then from there, you could do your overlay. So you have very confined criteria in which you're able to design. Just like that, right? Just deleting these layers. Now, yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, that's cut and dry, less than 10 minutes. Drawing without a narrative. Let's go ahead and erase our slop here. We'll merge these down here. Now, if you wanted to just lightly, the stuff that's less important per detail, I just kind of fade out, so it's less. There you go. Keep this into the foreground. If you want, you can go back over it, or if you want to dice it up per your liking. So we got that on a layer now. Now what can we do with that? Well, let's scale it down for one. Okay. You can see by the power of having that on its own layer. We'll move this on top. So this could be option A for your client. And let's just say you had another mantle, or excuse me, a hearth that you wanted to create, but didn't want to start from the scratch because it's very similar to this style. Duplicate that layer, move it, just like so, scale it, so you'll be able to work on it, turn down the opacity, and make your modifications. So we'll go ahead and just kind of simulate that here. Back to our pencil, pick a dark brown, and let's say, kind of like that fireplace design I did, let's just say this was a straight corner. Excuse me. There's your box. Drop this down. Let's say I wanted that kind of a rabbit joint per se. This could be your top that sits in there. Does that make sense? This could be a chiseled edge. Let's snipe that corner off. Make it look cool of some sort. Now just come in with the eraser. Too many construction lines going. We don't know what's going on here. Let's erase that. Then we also want to erase that. Something like that. And this could be, unconsolidated concrete of some sort there. Let's say this was a concrete countertop. You want to make that a waterfall edge. We could do that. Let's go ahead and erase this line now. Let's see, now we just integrated that the whole deal. So you can make bookends or corner ends. Still ensuring that design, kicking it around. Or you could do, say this had a half waterfall edge. It's kind of sleeved in. Kind of dadoed in into that edge. Some shadow there. And just a quick idea, we'll just throw some quick tone on there. Kind of give the okay, there's another idea. Then I'm going to merge the layers. So now it's on its own layer. I could do a lot with this now. So I could take this and let's move it from one. So now I can move it. I can also rotate it and then scale it. And then start to compile the iterations. All right, and then lastly, I'm going to turn these off. I'm going to close this video out with just a quick 2-point perspective using Sketchbook's tools. So make a new layer. At the top here, you can see that you got a series of different tools. This one looks like a Rubik's Cube. Perspective guides. Click that button. Another little mini window comes up with icons. The one you're looking for is the one 2-point mode. Okay, you got the blue line represents your horizon line, and you got the two little nodes which represent your vanishing points. I'm going to go ahead and slide these up. The horizon line is way at the top, which means that we're looking down at our subject matter. I'm going to shrink this down just a little bit, slide these off even a little more. The tighter they're in, the more distortion you're going to get. So I'm just going to draw a simple cube using the tools. It's all automated. Your lines are razor sharp. And as I move my pencil towards the vanishing points, it knows just to track and keep those lines receding. See? If I just carry those out, go right over to that dot or the node, or VP1, whatever you want to call it. Pretty slick. Now I could turn this off, erase those lines. They're not necessary. And now you have a very, very precise cube that's drawn in perspective. And then from there, you can apply the same methods. You turn it down. We can stack them up. Let's make a duplicate of that. We can move that layer up. Be out of perspective there. Let's just say something like that. Right. We're going to merge below. Turn it way down. And then now you can sketch right over the top of that. Right. So let's do, what do we want to make here? Well, you could do a beam, wood beam. There's your post, right? Wood post. Is your end grain, right? Couple splits in there, right? Hit hit it up with your watercolor brush, you know, put some tone in there. I'll just come in with the eraser real quick, you know, soften that up, making it look kind of grungy. And then if you want, you can come back in with the fountain pen and outline it. You know, if you were trying to communicate to your client that, you know, we're going to have pergola tops, we're going to simulate them, you know, these could be beam ends. There's your split. That's it. If you wanted to put a spotlight on it, I come in here with the white, just to indicate that there's a light source. A few highlights. That's it in a nutshell, guys. I hope you like this video. David Freeman, I hope you like it as well. I'm going to try to do more as time permits. Keep checking out the Rock Sculptor YouTube site. And as time allows, I'm going to go ahead and keep putting more videos on. Look forward to the comments. And glad I could help you guys out. Signing off, guys. Enjoy your Friday. Take care and have a good weekend. God bless. Bye-bye.